Actually, I want to follow up on Justice Kagan's questions about what an informed observer might think about seeing this flag, because I agree with her, this really is a fiction, and this goes to Justice Souter's concurrence in summum, trying to figure out how much the observer, or the informed observer, knows. It seems to me that when you think about the three factors from our case law, control does almost all of the work, because really it's the informed observer knowing about the degree of control that the government exercises that, if we're creating this fiction, makes the informed observer think or not think that the speech is actually uttered on behalf of the government. Would you agree that control is the most important factor?
I think that's right. Control is the most important factor, excuse me. And that's because all of the factors in Summum and Walker are just that. They're factors to determine who is speaking. And when you're asking the question, who is speaking, generally the person speaking has exercised some degree of control over the message that's being conveyed.
Well, what if a city exercised complete control in this sense? It has a policy that says anybody can put up whatever message they like on a big billboard that we have in front of City Hall, except that we will review all of these messages and we will exercise complete discretion in deciding whether we will allow the message to be put up. And in exercising that discretion, the city disallows any message with which it disagrees. Now there's complete control. Do you think that's government speech?
It's sort of difficult to answer, and I'll just give you a couple of the things that
How can it possibly be difficult to answer? Suppose that it was the speaker's platform in a park, and they say, anybody can speak here, but you have to give us your speech in advance, and we're going to exercise complete control over what you say. If we don't like your speech at all, we're going to reject it. If it's got some things we don't like, we're going to edit it. Other than that, you can say anything you want, subject to our complete control. That's government speech?
That's obviously not government speech and obviously forbidden. And in particular, you said a public park where that is.
Well, let's say it's in front of City Hall. In front of public park. It's on public land in front of City Hall. My point is, control can't be the be-all and end-all, because censorship involves control. Censorship, that's exactly what censorship is.
You're absolutely right. I'm not going to fight you on that, but I guess what I'm saying is that one can imagine the city, if it chooses to, say, on its website, host articles about Boston and how great Boston is. They might not want to write all of them. They might say, submit your essays, but this is on our website, and it's going to be from our viewpoint, and if we agree with your viewpoint of why Boston is great, we'll publish your article that you've submitted to us on our website. I think that looks a lot more like soliciting third-party views to shape a government message, and so to the extent the billboard example would be similar, that very well might be government speech, but I think in most cases, if what the city is doing or if what the governmental body is doing is simply inviting a diversity of viewpoints, then it's no longer government speech, and then it really does look like putting a stamp of approval. I guess an analogy I would give you is the difference between, say, hosting a symposium in which you're sort of curating who's going to speak. You might be inviting a diversity of views, but within a narrow band, and you're exercising a lot of control, versus hosting an open mic night, where you have the mic available, you're serving as a conduit, and third parties can come up and give their views. And I think that's the key question in this case. Was Boston hosting a symposium of flags in its communities, or was it more like an open mic night?
Well, if that's the key question, then how do